Great. So in the previous videos, I showed you real life examples of 3 different sales copies. In this specific video, I'm going to show you more sales copy and we'll actually go through it and I'll actually point out the headline, subheadline, and the other parts of the sales letter that we talked about earlier so that you can get a better view of things. And I'll also talk about other helpful methods for you to begin to write better sales copy. The one thing that I found that helped when I began to start out writing sales copy was a lot of people told me go to sales copy that are doing well, or even go to sales copy forums and find sales copy and print it out so that you can write on it. Get out another piece of paper and write on a sheet of paper and basically copy over headline, subheadline, and all that over, because what you're doing is you're writing everything down. And by doing so, it really helps your mind think and it really helps your mind remember the different parts of a sales letter. And most sales letters, if you notice, are made up of parts, headlines, subheadlines, and all that. So they're actually very easy to write out. Here's an example that I'll be using. It's Edmund Lowe's Resale Rights Mastery page here. And you'll notice that at the top he has a sentence up here, a question. And then he has a headline here. It says, secure your instant access to a mammoth collection of constantly adding resale rights, private label rights, graphics, and more, and jumpstart your online marketing career starting this second. So if you notice here, he's using different types of headlines in here. He's sort of doing a cause and effect, sort of like what I talked to you about in the headline earlier. I said it tells you that you can secure instant access to a collection of this material, so you get this, but what does this stuff do? So he's addressing a feature or a product or service. And then here he says, this right here, if you grab this, it'll jumpstart your online marketing career starting this second. So that's sort of like a guarantee right here. So just remember, when you're writing your headlines, make sure that you mix in different types of headlines into one big headline. And of course he has his sub headline here, and he has the addressing the prospect area right here, from the laptop of so and so, today's date is, etc., etc. Remember, you can use that JavaScript code so that the system will automatically know what the date is. And then he addresses the prospect, and then after that he has the introduction here. So from this point onto here, that's the introduction. And he also uses proofs and screenshots, which I talked to you about earlier, up at the top, because what happens here is when people see that, they think, wow, okay, I want to know more. So where you put your proofs, your evidence, your screenshots, it really doesn't matter where you put it in any order. But as far as endorsements and testimonials, I like to put them at the top, but it's really up to you. You can test it out. You could even do split testing with the Google optimizer that I'll actually be showing you in the next video. So for a while, you'll notice that he uses screenshots a lot. And then way about 1/4 down, you'll notice that he introduces the actual product, which of course is a membership site. And then of course he includes the testimonials here and video endorsements. So you can use the testimonials for the video endorsements. And then he talks about the actual product that he's giving out. Now what he does here is he mixes the benefits and the features together. So for example, he says this is what you get. You get a constantly adding resale rights library, and he talks about the library, and then he talks about the benefits. So the features are up here and he mixes the benefits down here. And for every component, you'll notice the same trend here. Component 2, for example, the constantly adding collection of private label rights material, and he shows the material that people get. So that's sort of like the features, and then he provides the benefits right underneath that. And you can see the same format throughout the whole sales letter. And then at the end, he talks about more benefits, because the more benefits, the better. And he goes on to talk about the bonuses here. And he gives a 365-day guarantee. And I've read this somewhere, but if you put a guarantee that goes up to a year or even more, sometimes people will buy into that, and that increases your conversion rate extremely high. So it's a risk to take, because you might have people who a year later say, I want a guarantee, I want that refund back. But as far as conversion rates go, you'll definitely increase it much higher than a 60-day guarantee. Because if it's a no risk type thing like this, they don't have to wait. They can just say, okay, well, I can get it now. There's no risk involved. But you as a seller, you'll have to take that risk. So it's really a trade-off here. And of course you have the call to action, the buy it now section, and the PS section here. So you'll notice that I actually went through all of these, the headline, subheadline, and all this. And this is a great sales letter, and we can check that it actually has all of this material. So make sure that when you write your sales letter, you actually include all of this material that we actually talked about. If you include more, great, but make sure that you include every single one of these to get a better conversion rate. Now, one other thing that I found that helped is if you go to a place called Copywriters Board. You can find that by going to copywritersboard.com. And it actually belongs to Michael Fortin, which is a very famous copywriter. And I highly recommend these sites, mainly because when you write your sales copy, you can go to people and say, hey, what do you think of this? And a lot of times they'll give you good critiques without you having to go to a copywriter, paying them $1,000 to write your sales copy or edit it. So you can learn a lot from these places, and I'd highly recommend that you look into these places.